Okay, I want to welcome you to the Unlimited Traffic Getting webinar, and I apologize. Been having technical issues with my internet connection. I think it's related to my computer, not the actual connection itself. So I'm recording this locally for you, and then you can watch it at your convenience. I apologize again, but nothing I can do with technical glitches. But anyway, I was on a roll, and I was a half hour into the original. Process, but that's okay. Anyway, one of the things that I decided to do with this traffic training is, one, there's nothing to purchase, so rest at ease and get a piece of paper and a pen and start to take some good notes and apply the things that I'm going to go through here. But one of the things I decided to do is to back up a little bit with some processes and some task-related goals that will tie in with the traffic sources that you're going to be looking at. And you'll see that when we get moving forward into the next steps here. But for those of you who don't know anything about me, over 10 years ago I had started in the affiliate marketing industry sheerly by accident. When I say that, I was looking for something to do online and literally tracked back a free book that tracked to a affiliate program and just asked some questions. And over the course of time, it wasn't immediately, but it was over the course of time. I had at that point up about 2 years into playing around online, selling things on Amazon, eBay, stuff like that, but not making much money, and trying to figure out some things. And I stumbled into this affiliate world, and no training, no crazy internet events, nothing. I wasn't even smart enough to Google that type of stuff. Didn't know it existed. So, but I was able to, through trial and error, to create a significant income to the point where I didn't have to be a painter anymore, and I could. The goal for me was to be a stay-at-home dad so that I could be with my kids, and that's what I was able to achieve. So. Now I joke around saying I'm home too much with them. So anyway, but here's one of the things that I found over the years is especially the more and more internet related things that are out there, affiliate marketing trainings, gurus, all this other stuff that you see out there. There's challenges and confusion that happens where you get shiny object syndrome. Do I do this? Do I do this? What specifically should you be working on? What traffic sources? So before I even jump into that, I want to cover one thing. About seven or 8 years ago, I did my first um, lead generation boot camp. And one of the things that I had in that boot camp specifically laid out was a very simple process. And really, if you take anything away from what I'm about to share with you, is this is how simple it is. Uh, Somebody's looking for a product or service that you may be promoting. You take that product or service link, website, whether it's your website, an affiliate product, um, you know, anything in between, and figure out how to get your link in front of the person that's looking for that product. Now, that sounds real simple, um, and you might be saying, what is wrong with this guy? How simple could that, that sounds way too simple. But that's really what it comes down to. So for me, in my case, when I started doing affiliate marketing, and I was in the poker industry at first, I found that the poker industry, at the time, there were forums where people were talking about poker. I didn't know anything. I didn't have any training. All I did was figure out, hey, there's guys playing poker over here. I should go give them a link, and show them how they can get something of value for them playing poker. And in doing that, I found that in these forums, obviously, is where everybody's congregating to talk about this, but I also found ways to advertise. I found out about, CPM marketing, which is like banner advertising impressions on websites, and buying space and media buys and that type of stuff, which I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of, first it started with $20 a week for a banner. And then I would test, okay, out of that, how many subscribers did I get? Not subscribers, how many people did I actually get buying what I was offering, and so forth. So, but what I found is that over the years of all the different things that I've seen, all the programs I've gone through, all the events I've gone to, up until that point, the only events I had been to was personal development, business training type events, not, how to make money type events, but, more, working on yourself, working on your business type stuff. So, but what I want to clarify is there's no magic pill here. Before we even get into this, the number one thing is, do you have the drive to accomplish your goals? Because so many people are quick to pull out their credit card, and this has been me over the years as well, where I'll say, hey, yeah, that sounds great, let's do it, and then you get busy with life, you don't have enough time to put into it. There's all different types of reasons or excuses that come up, but ultimately it comes down to you. You've heard the saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. You need to step up. You need to, um, I'm going to call it, pull up your big boy pants and get moving and move forward. Most of you have all the resources and things that you need to do what you need to do, and all you need to do is take the necessary steps, put the time in. I'm going to give you a little story here. Um, when I uh, started figuring out some things in the affiliate world, about 6 months prior to that, I had made the decision to move out of Boca Raton, Florida, because we were living, you know, pretty comfortably there in a nice home, had everything you could imagine, the pool, all that stuff. And told my wife, I said, look, we just need to downsize. I need to figure out, I need to get away from the painting industry. I need to buy some time so that I could, put some time in. And my kids were getting ready to go to school, and I wanted them in private school. So I was like, okay, um, I got to be able to do something. So for me, what I did was I moved to a neighborhood that wasn't the best. And when I say it wasn't the best, somebody was shot and killed down the street, like literally the next week. And I realize that stuff happens everywhere nowadays, but in reality, this was not a great neighborhood. And I just didn't realize it at the time. I was just looking for something more cost effective for a temporary solution. And what I did was it freed up my time so I could figure out some things. And what I figured out in affiliate marketing were some very basic fundamentals. And I started using things like Amazon and eBay to generate leads. Now you can still do this using those services. I know there's terms of services with each, so please, obviously check with the terms of services to make sure you're doing, things the right way. I wasn't smart enough back then to figure that stuff out. I literally would just test it and say, hey, that worked. And then, hey, why did they ban my account? So I'm not kidding. I've been banned on, back then I was banned on eBay, banned on Amazon, banned, I got my IP address banned from my, blacklisted from my IP, my internet service provider. I figured out all the things not to do because I didn't know what you could and couldn't do. I, just didn't understand it at the time. So, but of course I learned and learn the right way to do things. Of course, complying with terms because eBay didn't like me selling things for a penny just to generate leads. So if you read more about me or watch one of my webinars on how I gave away stuff of value to build my business, you'll understand more about that. So, but anyway, I want to get to the point where the reason I brought that up was there's no magic pill. I was still painting, but I had literally given away most of my larger contracts, and I kept just enough to keep food on the table and pay the bills. And after I'd go paint, 10, 12 hours in the day, I come home and I'd go lock myself in the office and I'd stay in there till 2, 3 in the morning, get up and do it all over again. And I did that for 6 months at least. And I want to clarify, I'm not the type to, I'm not a 9 to 5er. I actually enjoy what I do. Now, of course, I like my R&R time and hanging out and doing that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to business, I love what I do. So I'm not concerned with the amount of hours I got to put in. I don't look at it as, oh, I got to work. It's like I actually look forward to doing certain things now. Certain tasks, obviously, um, don't matter. I don't like some of the technical things, some glitches come up like earlier today with my computer deciding to do an update and then having an internet connection right before the webinar. Hey, those things happen. I can't control everything. So, um, but, I didn't invent the internet and I didn't, even if you did, you still got issues. So, but anyway, um, what I'm getting at with the magic pill is that there's it's going to take effort. It's going to take time. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take resources, right? And as I get into the traffic, you're going to realize that there's paid traffic, there's time, and we'll get into that a little bit in a little bit. But so I want to take you through a series of questions, and you're going to see how these all tie together with your traffic-related stuff. And you'll see questions to ask yourself before starting your internet business. Why do I want my own internet marketing business? Answer these to yourself. Obviously, write them out. What interests, talents, or skills and strengths do I have that will assist me in running my new business? Now, some of you may have, investment background, that you may be looking into. Some of you have, marketing related talents and things that you could bring to the table. Some of you just, are, a fired up type of person that you have, your ability to motivate and educate people and move people. So, whatever those skills are, you need to write them out and see. Let's go through this exercise so that you can see. For me specifically, I didn't have interest in the poker industry when I got started. I just found a business that was working, and I learned to get interest in it real quick when I was making money. So, but again, my talent was I was dumb enough to bang my head against the wall till I figured stuff out. That was really as simple as it was for me. So sometimes we make things a little too complex, right? And again, what are your strengths and weaknesses? List them out. What skills do I need to learn or brush up on to run your business effectively? Now, for some of you, you maybe say, well, I don't know how to set up a website. I don't know how to set up an autoresponder. I don't know how to do this, all that. Let's first off, for me, I learned the process to go through first one time. I'll go, there's plenty of video tutorials online on how to do things. You just need to put the time in to learn how to do it. If you've figured out to this point, if you think about it, every person on this planet, that's in the internet, that's in the civilized world, has access to a computer, some type of cell phone. We learned how to use a cell phone. You learned how to now, obviously smartphones, how they have all these different things on it. Everything from your iPads to iPhones to Androids and just the computer in and of itself. Learning how to turn the button, turn it on, learn how to search the internet. You can learn how to do anything, right? And if I can do it, I know anybody can. So just figure out what you want to learn and what you feel is the best. I always say the highest and best use of your time, right? And anything you don't want to do, then you need to pay somebody to do it. So, uh, you know, make a list of things that, hey, I don't want to set up websites at all. I don't want to do that at all. I don't want to, certain tasks you don't want to do, and then you need to find somebody to do it for you, right? But if you're in a situation where you got to do it because you don't want to spend a ton of money, then start banging your head against the wall. But the great thing is nowadays, when I started, there weren't video tutorials. It was you had to go read stuff. You had to and sometimes you just had to figure stuff out or ask somebody. So what skills do I need to learn? Right, write that down. And do you enjoy challenges? For me, I enjoy certain types of challenges. Other things I would love not to deal with, but I enjoy going through certain processes to learn, and then I like delegating it to somebody else. So, will I be doing the work myself? Will I be doing work that is meaningful and really interests and Excites me. Now, again, for me, didn't matter. What excited me was I was making money and in a different industry than the painting industry, um, and and I was learning new processes. So for you, now obviously at this point in my life, doing things to, not just support my family, but charitable things, different things that I enjoy doing. So for you, write down specifically what's meaningful and really interests you, and what excites you. Um, and do you really have a money-making idea or a business right now? Are you involved with a business? I can tell you there's a number of times people will come to me and say, oh, I have this a great product. Well, how much money do you make off of it? Oh, well, the markup's only 50 cents. Well, yeah, okay, you need to sell a lot of those, right, to make money. So you may want to think about doing something else in the meantime. And if you're passionate about that, that's great. Give it away, or just do it not for the money. You're doing it just because, you want to. So you have to really think beyond that, and, think that through a little bit. So um, who are my ideal target customers? Who is my competition? Now, obviously, those two things right there, they're going to tie into traffic, which I'm going to take you through in a bit, but I want you to I really want you to memorize these things. And some of you may say, oh, this is really basic. I know this, right? But think about this. When you're going to buy a traffic source, there are things that you're going to learn when I'm going to take you through when I go through this in a bit. You're going to learn specifically how you should be purchasing certain sources of traffic, things you should be doing to scale that up, and things you need to be cautious for, and look at before you make the decision to invest in scaling traffic. Who's your competition? I always talk about this, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast, but I'm actually trying to speed this up so I can condense it, so I'm not wasting time. because I don't know if some of you have been on webinars where they just talk and rant and they don't get to the point. I'm a kind of a point person. I'm going to give you the steps and then you go do them, and then we can go from there. So um, competition. I always like to reference this. Here in the States, we have Walmart, Target, and Kmart, but Kmart's becoming sparse. A few of them have shut down, but Kmart, Target, and Walmart are usually always within a mile radius of each other. Sometimes they're directly across the street from each other. Staples and Office Depot, usually across the street from each other. Home Depot and Lowe's, same thing, across the street from each other. They're competitors. They know they're competitors, but yet they put stores directly across from each other. Why is that? I want you to really think this through. Online, it's the same concept. If you see sites that are, in your business that you can get your type of traffic from, or people that have solo ads in your type of business, and other businesses are running traffic there, you know, what's honestly think about this. Why did you subscribe to see this, webinar? Why did you subscribe to see somebody else's webinar? It may be, hey, I want to see what this guy Dan's doing, what he's about, or hey, there was something different about this guy. There was something different about the way he did something, or he gave me something of value that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to learn some more from him. So, really think about that when you're out there promoting your product or your service. Think about what your competitor's doing. Figure out how to advertise where they're advertising. If they're advertising for any length of time, that they're doing well with it, because they're not going to keep pouring money into advertising if they're not actually getting any results. So think about that from the competition perspective. Um, so what do you offer that the competition doesn't? For me specifically, I pride myself on trying to take care of customer support, to make sure that if a customer or client has any questions, I'll get on the phone with them. I've done all different types of things. I've coaching clients from years ago that I still talk to, that anytime they call me with a question, I pick up the phone. It's not like, hey, you need to renew for your coaching or else I'm not talking to you type of thing. And I know a lot of the gurus don't do that. I know some of them personally that they choose to operate their business that way. That's fine. But I say, for me personally, I like to treat others the way I would want to be treated. And believe me, I've pushed the limit with some of the people that I've invested in coaching programs or other types of programs before, because I didn't get the customer service I expected. So that's one of the things that I try to pride myself on. And do things happen? Things fall through the cracks. I didn't see an email. Of course, I'm human. Things happen. So, but that's one thing that I pride myself on competition. That my competitors, if I want to call them competitors, I really don't, because we're all pretty much in the same boat, trying to assist one another. So, but anyway. Then I want you to think those things through as you're going through these traffic exercises, right? Um, have I established business goals, and am I a self-starter? Now, we're going to get more in depth into the business goals here. Just write that down, whether it's a yes or no, and are you a self-starter? Obviously, this is what not a self-starter is, a couch potato or somebody that doesn't like to work. And let's talk about setting goals here, right? What is a business goal? Clearly, a goal is a statement that clearly describes actions to be taken or tasks to be accomplished. A business will have a number of goals, each describing a desired future condition toward which efforts are directed. If the goals are accomplished, then the business should be a success. Now, for me, I have multiple different goals. Over the years, I've had goals, back as far as 1995. One of the things that came up once was, I used to have, when I was introduced to the personal development world, I was always the type that, hey, I want this, then I'm going to go work for it, and then I work for it and accomplish it. But I never had, put anything behind that as far as, building myself up, believing in myself, because I always just believed I could do anything. And but when I got around the personal development world, it helped me outline some things and get things more structured. But here's what I found. When I had a picture in front of me with, in one specific case, I had a picture of my wife and 2 kids at the time. And we went and took a picture in front of a specific home that had 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. And that specific one didn't have the pool in the background, which I always wanted to have the pool. And guess what? I wound up living in a 5 bedroom, 3 bath house with no pool. So I didn't realize that till later, but I was like, man, I was like, I know I had a picture of the pool, but that was the picture that was in front of me all the time. So now I'm in a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house with a pool. So, but you know, ultimately though, these goals, again, they were personal goals, but they were goals that drove me in my business to, reach certain levels, to be able to do the things I wanted to do. But I'd never realized that until I started putting things in front of me. And a lot of times they become, just in your subconscious, they come to fruition. So, um, clearly describe actions to be taken, or tasks to be accomplished. Your business goals describes a desired future condition toward which efforts are directed, and without a goal, you will find yourself accomplishing very little. Now, let me clarify that one. Every day, with all the different businesses that I have going on now, I need to I need a piece of paper, physical piece of paper, whether it's a post-it note, depending on how many things I need to do. Post-it note, sometimes it's a actual index card, or sometimes it's actually my journal notebook, depending on if there's a lot of things I got to get done. And every night before I retire for the evening, I take that paper and I write down specifically what has to get done. And I do them in order of priority. Whether it's, hey, I got to set up this web page, I got to have my guy, my web designer do this, and this. I have to, whatever it is, I map it all out in order of priority so that the next day I know specifically what has to get done. I can tell you the days that I don't do that, or I think, oh yeah, I'll remember that, it's no big deal, it's just one thing. There have been times I'm in bed sleeping and I get up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and will write down specifically because I forgot something. And literally last night I forgot something and it was important. But again, things happen. So so you want to make sure you write down specific things that have to happen and keep it in front of you, because if you start writing it down, you see it on a piece of paper, there's something magical that happens. Especially for me, I got to check things off. I got to scratch them off the list so that I feel like I accomplished something. And at the end of the day, when you see that you got all those things accomplished, or sometimes things get pushed up a day or two, depending on if you're waiting on things, it'll work out. So don't allow it to, get you down. It's just, that's part of it. There's going to be things that can't get accomplished in a day. So next would be, here's the two basic purposes. The first purpose is to establish a measure or a way to evaluate the success of your business. Right? And you must be able to track it and see that it's aligned with your success. We're going to get into tracking stuff with the traffic related things, but you'll see why, if you don't see yet why I'm taking you through this, because it's important, right? And this, to track and do everything related to your traffic. And the second purpose is to set different priorities for all involved. You need to decide who will be accountable for the accomplishments of each goal you set. So in my case, it's, hey, I set this up. Say if it's a website related thing, then I know specifically that when I send off a video tutorial or something written, that person is responsible for that goal to get done within a certain amount of time. So your business goals need to be challenging. Your business goals needs to say what is going to be done, and the goals need to be very specific. Make sure you write these things down, keep them in front of you. Right? Here's some examples of goals. Create an online internet marketing business that will deliver high quality products to my customers. Find the products that my customers want to buy. Create a website for my product that my customers can easily find. Make it a pleasurable experience once they land on my site. Create a good relationship with my list of subscribers that have chosen to opt in so they can become responsive, buying customers. Put in place a management structure and work with joint venture partners to accomplish my goals more efficiently and profitably. Right? So how's your mindset right now? Can you or can't you? I think everybody on this, everybody watching this is a can-do type person, but begin with a fresh, begin fresh with a new way of thinking. I can get it done. I will get it done. Most importantly, I will find a way. If you say you can't, you're right. Surround yourself with positive people. Get rid of negativity. Leave the excuses of the old you. Realize that you have value to offer. Let me clarify something on that. When I was doing what I was doing online years ago in the poker industry, I didn't have a mentor or anything like that, and I finally found a mentor. I remember sitting in a huge conference room, and he was just asking me question after question, writing everything down on a whiteboard. And I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know, I didn't even realize what I had learned. Um, what I learned was, um, sorry, I didn't realize that that wasn't up there. But what I learned was, um, he said, "Did you ever go to an internet event?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, how the heck did you learn all this stuff?" And I just kind of, trial and error, see what worked, what didn't work. Came up with some creative things that nobody still to this day doesn't really do. I've seen some things similar that are, with, what I'm talking about specifically is, giving away stuff for free, physical products. In my case, in the poker industry, I gave away poker chips with at the time they cost $150 a set, and I gave them away for free. So, uh, but if you want to learn how, or why, because that obviously doesn't make sense just saying it like that, but you can watch the video or read my story on how I did that and how it works and all that good stuff. But anyway, the value, he was like, you don't realize the value of what you can bring to the table to share with others, to help them. And it also takes me into the personal development side where people tell, where I used to listen, dating myself, to a tape. For you young people on the webinar that don't know what a tape is, it's been replaced by MP3s and CDs. But I used to listen to this tape, and on this tape, the guy would say, um, uh, somebody needs to hear your story, and the only person that can make them move is you, because it's your story that they're going to relate with, and you're going to be the person to catapult them to their success, whatever that may be for them. So, or you may just be, a facilitator to point them in the right direction. So there's many of you like that on this today that are talking, that are doing different things, that have the ability to reach people, and influence their decisions, and how you can help them achieve their goals. So just throw in those 2 cents, no charge for that, right? So anyway, a few more things here, and we're getting ready to jump right into our traffic part. So surround yourself with positive people, get rid of the negativity. Either your relationships are truly supporting you or they're not. Do not let others hold you down with their doubts and expectations. You have more strength and potential than anyone could possibly imagine. Now, for some of you, you may be sitting there thinking, hey, I'm usually around positive people. Well, I can tell you, even in my own life, that there are people in my life that sometimes, can sap the energy out of you. We all have them in our life, right? Where, it's a negative experience. You actually dread, sometimes when the phone rings, or if you have to be around those type of people. So, in some cases, it's your family, right? So, um, but I'm not saying to excommunicate them, but you know what I'm talking about. You need to be around positive environments to be able to grow your business and grow yourself. So um, okay, so leave excuses to the old you. It's time to really discover the authentic you. You need to start dropping your defenses and face life as you are. You can read. I'm not going to bore you with it, but because for those of you that know all about this stuff, it's just a refresher for you. But you're going to, like I said from the beginning, the reason I decided to do it from this perspective is because mindset, business goals, and the processes tie specifically into, especially traffic, because traffic is the lifeblood of your business. And obviously, without traffic, there's no new subscribers, new clients, new customers, and so forth. So you need to stay focused on that. So now it's time to step up to the plate here. And then, obviously, your story, the main character in your story has always dreamed of what? What is it that you're dreaming of that you want to be able to do? For some people, that's, strictly charity and, philanthropy, where you want to go out and help for some type of cause, or, and others, it's, more for lack of a better word, more self-centered, because you want to focus on, being able to have a nicer house, nicer car, whatever it is for you, more money in the bank, more time with your family and your kids. So whatever it is. So what makes your story unique and utterly different from other people's stories? In my case, I did something radical. I was a painter. I moved into the hood, and figured some things out in affiliate marketing, and then went on to, do all the different things that I do today. So that's the quick condensed version. Um, so, but um, you just have to realize that you have value to offer. You've been brainwashed by society into thinking there is more wrong with you than there is right. You need to explore the intricate details of your strengths. You have magic within you. Life is not about what we can get, it's about what we can give. It's not about competing, it's about contributing. It's about the applause. It's about putting your hands together for others. That's by a guy named Brendan Burchard in the personal development space. You know, Google him. He's got great stuff, great content. Um, but So if you can't figure something out, ask. Don't self-sabotage yourself. Don't sit there and say, "Oh, I can't figure out. I got a glitch." You don't just stop. Obviously, you can figure anything out. Google it. Go on YouTube. There's videos for just about everything. Um, you know, or ask. You have me and my team as well, where you can shoot us an email and say, "Hey, how do I do this? I can't figure it out." And sometimes I'll just actually record a video for you, showing you specifically how to do it. So, all right, now we're going to jump into unlimited traffic. Free. Is it really? Okay. The reason I say that is so many people have told me over the years, and some clients that have told me this over the years, that, oh, well, I can just get free traffic and do SEO, and I don't need to spend any money. Well, first off, that's not the right mindset. Every business spends money on some type of in some type of way to get traffic to their websites or get traffic to their products and services. So, and any business that's worth its salt, that's going to actually grow, is going to spend, and invest more money into, branding, or, depending on the type of business, all different methods of being able to get traffic. So, a new client. So, here's what it comes down to with free. For me specifically, when I started in the affiliate marketing world, technically I labeled my traffic as free. Because it was pretty much paying for itself, but technically still wasn't free. I was using eBay, I was using Amazon, where I was giving away things for free on there, and I found out, like I mentioned before, that I was banned. So, and the reason I was banned was because the traffic was not traffic was basically coming off of offers that were giving away stuff for a penny. And in Amazon's world, they make 30% of a penny. That's not a lot, so it was causing issues, and they didn't like it, so they banned my account. eBay did the same thing, and ultimately they gave them back to me because it wasn't like I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. They didn't like the fact that I was giving stuff away for nothing. So, but anyway. But technically, yes, it was costing me, because in some cases I was actually giving away a high-priced product. But at that point, I knew specifically what was going to convert. And I did that in the poker industry, in the investment industry, the personal development industry, many other niches. So in this case, when you use the word free, it's going to take time or money. Right? And if you have time, that's great. And technically it's free, even though it's costing you your time that you can't get back. I'm just all about, accelerated methods. I'd rather have more cash or more traffic coming in, paying for it, than spending time trying to, do some other, methods that may take more time. So ultimately you're paying for it. So I call it the SEO myth, where a lot of people, want to focus on search engine optimization, and they think, oh, well, I just put a couple of meta tags on my site, and then I'm going to rank number one. Why ain't I on the first page of Google? You know what? Go ahead and figure all that stuff out, and let me know how you do. I've played that game for years, and it's something that you constantly got to do, constantly put in time to keep stuff there. And I'd much rather just cut around that and let Google have their fun playing around with everybody else that wants to do that. That's just my opinion. So if you're good at it, great. I know guys that are great at SEO and that they love it. They love the game. They love being able to do it. They rank well, but they put in years and an amount of time, so much time, that it's easier just to go buy traffic for me. So, but that's just my thought. So, but I want you to understand that, because the methods I'm going to share with you right now are paid methods. I go into the creative free strategies in my other program, but again, I'm not selling anything here. So, if you ask me for the sheet, I'll actually even send it to you. But I just want you to see something here. All right. So here's our unlimited paid traffic things that we're going to be talking about here. And I just realized the way I'm recording this, I'm not going to be able to share my screen, so I'm going to have to slice it together for you. But I'll actually I'll splice it together here in a second, but I'm going to go through these couple things, and then also obviously you get you'll get the traffic cheat sheet that has all the links to all the different sites on it and all the solos, the paid traffic methods that I'm recommending that you check into. And again, there's a disclaimer in there. Make sure you check them out thoroughly. I have not used all of them, but I've used a good portion of them over the years, and you'll learn a lot from them. But and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So, but here's some paid traffic methods: pay-per-click, pay-per-view, cost per action, CPA, video, solos, and then offline. And offline would be your classifieds, like things like classifieds, magazines, newspapers, and your any other type of offline printed type media. Right. So okay, we're going to go through now the solo ad directory. Here is, you'll see this in the actual PDF you're going to get with the traffic cheat sheet. This is one of the many that are in there, but one thing I like about this is that it actually will show me the reviews. People will come back and post. So if you can see here, if we click on this person's link, it's going to send me to the site. It's going to show me specifically, what their solos will run, how much they'll cost, 100 clicks for $59, a couple testimonials, but testimonials are great, but a lot of times I don't trust the ones that are on websites. So if I go to the review section, this is a review that's actually on Solo Ad Directory, not actually on that person's site. So now I can go, it'll show that, hey, here's my valid receipt that I actually did purchase. He generated 64 opt-ins and 14 extra. So if he paid 55 cents a subscriber, basically, when he did the math. And it worked for him. So there's 57 responses. So I'm looking for, what kind of rate did these people get? So if you look here, I purchased 100 click opt-in solos. Now what I'm going to share with you right now is something important. So make sure you pay attention to this. Look at and this is the first time I'm reading this one. So again, bear with me. But all opt-ins were from the same IP address. Many were consecutive email addresses. I did not notice this until I received an email from AWeber regarding violation of my terms of services, and I reported fraud. Now, this guy posted something that, for those of you aren't aware, there are scripts out there that people will create to go post, make it look like people are opting in, and they create dummy accounts. So you seem like you got, your money's worth. But in this case, if you look at this, he replies and he says, I searched through my sends. Just in my defense, I sent you 121 clicks here and gave the customers a bonus when they signed up for you. That's why there's such a high opt-in rate. This was just one of my list segments. I have no control of what email they used, but I have a close relationship with them, and I also give them a bonus. So apparently it was okay, but you need to watch for stuff like this, when you're doing solos, because some people are scammy. But again, if you're doing this process right now, I'm not saying this guy is, it seems like he's legit. So you just kind of go through to find out. Here, look, this guy here, I'm afraid I have to be blunt, but Abel is the biggest fraud you'll ever come across with solo ads. Now, again, you see this, he's saying the guy, frauded him. And so when I see stuff like this, it's like, you know what, I may not want to use this one, okay? Not saying he is or not, I don't know, I haven't researched him enough, but again, you can go through, some of them have reviews, some don't. I prefer the ones with reviews. The one that I left in the first link in solos in the PDF, the traffic cheat sheet, is Safe Swaps. I highly recommend. That's a great place to start, and pay for the premium part. It's 30 bucks a month. That's the best 30 bucks you'll ever spend. You'll learn a lot in there, and you can also do solos directly in there and swaps and build your list that way. And it's a great way to learn more about this process. So, that's the solo process. This is not a training just on solo ads, but I just want you to I want you to look at this so you're aware of it. Let's go into here's other places to do solos and other ads. As you can see from my internet connection being down before it shut down all my pages. But so here's one Archamax. Again, these are listed in the PDF that you're going to get, the cheat sheet, but When you come in here, you'll put in a request, and they'll send you information on how to buy advertising and media specifically for their site. These ones are going to be more pricey. You can always ask about running a test or remnant media buy, so you'll find out about that. But so pretty much, that's one specifically. I just wanted to give you an overview so you can see. And let me, if you see here, it says newsletters. You can advertise in their newsletters, solos, website, co-registration, and then offline list rental as well for mailers. So, and if you click on them, that'll show you what that stuff looks like in most cases. So, so this one has different cartoons and stuff as well. There's all different stuff you can do here, but this is just one site again. So there's all different ways to register and get traffic from them. Another one, if you're in the personal development industry or health-related industry, get this to come up here. Set all my pages reset because of my internet connection, but I did have them pre-opened for the webinar. And let's see, it should still be up. Just double check. Yeah, everything looks good, but for some reason this site's not coming up now. But you can go to it on your side if it doesn't come up here. I think it's coming now. All right. No, still having an issue. So, but if you can go to selfgrowth.com, check that out. There's, look at their advertising down at the bottom right, I believe it is. That's another online method for solos, newsletters, posting articles, that type of stuff. And let me see if I believe my connection may be down again. Okay, so so in this case also, this is offline advertising for newspapers, classifieds, and things of that nature. Advertisingresults.com. You can go on and you can see for fairly next to nothing. Again, it's all going to come down to good advertising copy, good website copy to convert when you're running these type of ads. So so you can see here, $76 gets you a circulation of 340,000 newspapers in a classified section. So if you have the right ad, it'll work well for you. And you got to test with that as well, depending on the type of business as well. Obviously not for every business. So just to give you some ideas thinking through that. So again, you're going to get more information out of the PDF. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@30days to 10K, and you can go to the actual download for the actual PDF is 30days to 10K.com/traffic. Okay, thank you.